Welcome to this video where I'm going to teach you how to install wordfast Pro on your computer. The reason why we would like you to have installed wordfast Pro before the class is because on Thursday, when I'm going to teach you how to use wordfast Pro, some of you might want to use their own computer. And in that case, I would expect you to have downloaded the program and installed it before we start the class. The second reason is that I would like you, in any case, even if you're using a desktop and you're not going to have your computer during the lesson, to have wordfast Pro installed on your computer so that you can go home and be able to practice whatever I will have taught you during that class. So in order to download wordfast Pro, well, it's quite easy. It's available on the wordfast website. So I'm just going to open my Internet Explorer, or you can do it through any web browser that you would like to use. Just type the URL www.wordfast in one word .com. So we are now on the wordfast web page. As you can see, there is three different versions, but we'll come back to the third one during class. I will just kind of show you how it works. The first version, the one on the top, is called wordfast Classic. It's quite nice because it works within your Microsoft Office software. The problem is that it's quite complicated to install, and the installation varies between whether you're using Microsoft Office 2003, 2007, or 2010. So in order for everyone to start on the same basis, I thought it was better to use wordfast Pro. So wordfast Pro comes right underneath. You can see it. I'm just turning around it with my mouse, and I'm just going to click on download the free trial version now. So here I am on the download page. It's a try before you buy version. The reason why we chose to teach you wordfast is because it's becoming quite a big CAT tool. CAT standing for Computer Assisted Translation Tool. Among translators, it's a lot less expensive than the one that you might have heard of, which is called Trados, and it's quite easy to use. The other thing with wordfast Pro in particular is that it looks like a lot of other computer-assisted translations tool that you're going to encounter. So you will have a good idea of how those tools work, even if you've never touched them before, once you have touched wordfast Pro. So you just go on to the download wordfast Pro. As you can see, it exists for you have it for Windows, you have it for Linux, you have it for Macintosh, and for Windows you have a special filter pack that you need to download as well. So you just click on download wordfast Pro, and this is the window that will open on your computer. I choose to save it for one reason, which is I like keeping copies of all those programs. So I'm just going to save it. And generally I like to save it on desktop so that I know exactly where it goes, because the problem is that often what happens is that you download something and then you're thinking, oh gosh, where is it now? So the advantage of downloading onto your desktop is that you know you will always find it there. So I'm selecting my desktop here. I'm sorry, my computer is localized in French, but I'm sure you can all recognize the icon on your own computers. And press save. It's now downloading, I already have a version, so I'm going to jump the gun a bit. I'm just going to move on a bit. So now that I've downloaded the program, as you can see, it's on my desktop. It's right here. Before carrying on, I'm going to also download those filters that are given here. The download filter pack. It's quite a small file because you can see it's only 2 megabytes. The wordfast Pro was quite long because it's 112, but this one is quite short. So let's do the same thing. Once again, asking me if I want to run, and I say I want to save, and I still want to save on my desktop. So I press save. It's now downloading. If I look at the web page in the meantime, at the wordfast Pro, you will see that at the bottom there's a wordfast Pro online help, and there's a wordfast Pro's full technical reference manual. I would advise you to download the wordfast Pro's full technical reference manual, and of course you can go back to the wordfast Pro online help whenever you have a problem. I think the wordfast Pro's full technical reference manual is a PDF, and that's very, very useful to have. So just to let you know that you can download this. It's now at, yep, I can open the file and it's there. Okay, my filters are there, my wordfast is here. So let me just close this. I'm going to close my Internet Explorer. I don't need this anymore. And I'm going to install wordfast by simply double-clicking on this file that has appeared on my desktop. So it's now verifying the installer. It's unpacking data. Doesn't take much time in real life, but obviously on the video it feels like it's a bit long. Okay, halfway through. It's quite a straightforward program to install. As you can see, it takes a bit of time, but it's very straightforward. There we are. We have unpacked the data. It's now starting. wordfast Professional. So we're now in the setup wizard, which you must be used to by now. You click next. You obviously agree. You want it in your program files, so when it chooses, basically generally chooses the best space for you to be, so you click here. You want the standard install. Custom is always a bit awkward and you need to know the program very well in order to be able to do a custom install. So the best is to stay on the standard and just click next. Select the Start menu folder in which you would like to create the program shortcuts. You can also enter a name to create a new folder. Well, I want my shortcut to be as usual, so it will create it into my program file, which is fine. Just click Install. So it's installing all the components that it will need to work. wordfast, for those who know a bit about computers, wordfast is a Java-based program. So it will need, that means that it will need that your Java are updated. You know, when your computer claims that it needs a Java update, please do update it on a regular basis in order to maintain, to make sure that wordfast will be working the way it should be. It's now installing everything. So you should have exactly the same thing happening on your computer. As you can see, it takes a bit of time, as always. But once it's done, basically everything is done. So, except the filters that we're going to update very quickly after that. So here I am. I want a desktop shortcut because that's always useful, and I do want a quick launch shortcut which will appear in my startup menu. So I'm leaving those two things ticked. If you only want one on your desktop, well, you untick the one that you don't want. So you can have only the desktop one, you untick here, or only the quick launch one, which means you untick here, or you want both and you tick both. And voila! I've got my wordfast here. This is my old menu that I can save very quickly on a hard disk, on an external hard drive, or if I want to save it on a USB flash drive. Or if you don't need it, simply put it into the bin. And then my filters updater. Okay, so you see I just double clicked here. Let me do it again. You see here my filters updater are here. You will need to find the right icon on your desktop. I double clicked on it, and it tells me which features of filter update you want to install. I want to install all of them. So I just click on this one or leave it as it is. Click next. I want it installed into wordfast, so it's already chosen where my wordfast is, and I do install. Installed PowerPoint filter, improved Microsoft Word filter, improved FrameMaker filter. Okay, that's what I wanted, and I just close. So now, if I check, I've got my wordfast shortcut here. I've got another one in my quick launch here. Okay, and to check that it's working, I'm just going to double click on it and see what's happening. wordfast Professional is opening, as you can see. Okay, it's giving me a few things. Factory return null for create element for editor, women's and app. Doesn't matter. That must be just because I used to have another version. And I just click that and I do OK. I just want to close this. That's it. So here I am, and I've got my wordfast demo mode here. Don't worry about that. It's because I used to have a project on wordfast, so don't worry about that WFUNA. But you should have wordfast demo mode here, and everything should be working. And we will look at it into class and see how this works. Thank you very much. I hope that you will have been able to install wordfast Pro without any problem. If you do, please use Edmodo to ask me questions if you do run into problems, but I really don't think you would. And as you can see, my wordfast Pro is installed. I've just quitted it, and I'm now going to shut down my computer, and I'll see you on Thursday to discover how this program works. Thanks a lot.